Five-star linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. is back on the market. The number one linebacker in America just announced his decommitment from Texas A&M, and he is back out there ready to be recruited. We're going to bring on national recruiting analyst Sam Spiegelman. Sam, did you see this one coming?
No, I didn't. We know that Texas is among the teams that have continued to recruit Anthony Hill Jr., as you mentioned, the number one linebacker in the country. Before he even committed to Texas A&M, this had become a two-team race. Oklahoma was in it, Miami was in it, Alabama was in it, Oregon was in it. It's always been Texas and Texas A&M since crunch time, essentially. I think that A&M was feeling good as recently as last month about holding on to the Denton Ryan linebacker. Texas has not given up. And now we have one of the best players in the country now re-examining his options with only a few more weeks until the early signing period.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M Aggies just did not get off to the start that they expected to. Why do you think Hill Jr. decommitted?
You know, I don't think that's anything to do with Texas A&M, because even though, what was going on the field wasn't exactly what players thought, the coaches were recruiting their butts off. And more seriously, Tyler Santucci has been a rising star for Texas A&M and has spearheaded Anthony Hill Jr.'s recruitment. He was at Anthony Hill's big district showdown a couple of weeks ago against Aledo. And, the sense was that they were putting together this really star-studded 2023 class with a few missing pieces to top with their star-studded 2022 class, and that A&M would be competing for SEC championships and college football playoff spots. I don't think A&M has ever stopped recruiting him, but with Texas having a little bit more success and also recruiting Hill, those relationships go back equally as long as they do at A&M. They've both been recruiting him since he was a freshman at Denton Ryan. And I think with Texas a little bit more on the upswing, it's opened the door up for some visits.
Yeah, okay, so let's hit on that. So what is next when we talk about visits? He's already taken all five of his officials. Hill went to A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, and USC on official visits. So he's out. He has no more official visits left. Now, how do you see his recruitment in terms of visits playing out over the next, 6 to 8 weeks?
Hill will be in Austin this weekend for the big showdown, Texas versus TCU. And it would not be surprising that when December hits, or even later this month, he's back in College Station at least one, maybe two more times, depending on what the staff can do. I think, again, it's going to come down to Texas and Texas A&M. Both are drivable from Denton, Texas. He's going to stay in-state. All signs are pointing to that. I like where Texas sits, given that he reopened his recruitment, but A&M is not going anywhere. It's going to be a two-team race, but it begins, the next chapter is recruitment this weekend back in Austin.
Okay, interesting. So you think that Texas A&M still has a shot to reel him back in. Now, that doesn't happen often. When a prospect decommits from a school, he I guess it does happen sometimes, but he rarely ends up signing with that program. So we will see. That being said, when do you expect a decision?
I expect a decision to come at the early signing period. The way that the calendar is structured this year, the signing period is a little bit later on the 21st. Denton Ryan will have completed their full season, whether they make it to the state championship game in Cowboy Stadium or not. So that'll give him time to finish out his high school senior season, take a few of these visits that I mentioned, starting with this weekend and possibly getting back in December. And I expect him to have a decision for the early signing window.
Okay. This is the time of year where recruits do look at their commitments and sometimes reopen their recruitment. Do you think this is the last prospect to decommit from Texas A&M, or do you think that there could be more to come?
Yeah, right now it's impossible to predict what these kids wind up doing, but there is a lot of smoke, and where there's smoke, there is sometimes fire, and that's the case with Anthony Hill. And we know that a couple of the Texas A&M commitments, they have a really great in-state class, and they're examining their options because schools have refused to take their foot off the gas. David Hicks Jr. is being recruited to visit Texas this weekend. We know that he's going to take his official visit to Oklahoma later this month for Bedlam, and Oregon is another team that's staying in touch with David Hicks and was in contact with him as recently as this summer when he took an official visit. Two of their defensive back commits are looking at some other options within the SEC locally. Bravion Rogers is still being recruited by LSU, which is looking to add a star cornerback to this class. Javon Thomas out of Dallas South Oak Cliff was at TCU last weekend and remains on their wish list. the A&M commitments, they're looking to flip some guys, and some other schools are looking to flip their guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, today, Anthony Hill Jr. decommits from Texas A&M. Sam, thanks for checking in with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.